Hi, I'm Rose Cushing, host of Carolina Hoofbeats TV, and today I want to talk to you a couple minutes about hurricanes. As we all know, the official hurricane season doesn't begin until June 1st, but right now there are two systems out in the ocean that could develop. They're being watched by the National Hurricane Center. Last year we had 30 named storms. After Hurricane Michael, a Category 5 hurricane, made landfall and devastated much of Florida's west coast, we went down to Jefferson County, Florida, to meet their nationally acclaimed disaster team. They have done an amazing job of putting together the right people, getting the right resources to back those people up, and having a leadership team to orchestrate all that they do. And boy, what they do is pretty amazing. So as you watch this episode where we meet these amazing people and we hear their stories about how they came together, what they all do, and how they work together, it's my hope that you may just find some tips and some ideas that would help serve your community where you live so that we can all be safer.
I'm Mac McNeil, the Jefferson County Sheriff, and I also run the EOC, which is our Emergency Operations Center. And Ms. Paula Carroll is our director for the EOC. And so once we declare an emergency, or the governor does, and we declare a county emergency, then I take over the emergency operations for the county. We have different phases that we implement depending on the trajectory of the storm and how far out the storm is. And so we just get everything set up, get everything prepared, and then we track the storm and see where it's going to head and where it's going to go, and then see what our response will be. One of the biggest shortfalls in the state, in my opinion, is we're so focused on the human element that we forget about the animal element. And we are a very rural county with both tons of livestock that's here, both cattle and horses, and we got to think about that when these storms come in. We're so worried about protecting people, and that's of course our number one priority. But these animals, they need to be protected, and we're very fortunate here. We have a company, a nonprofit called Rainbow's Edge that works with us. They help shelter horses. They'll help get horses to a safe location, get them out of the storm's path, or take these horses in when storms are coming in certain areas. So for a county like us that's small, to have that sort of resource is amazing.
I'm Paula Carroll with Jefferson County Emergency Management. We notify all the stakeholders and the Board of County Commissioners and the volunteers, and we activate the EOC. We activate for humans. We notify Rainbow's Edge, and we also notify the Extension Office, and they have a working relationship where they open the Extension Office, and they are able to utilize that to keep keep animals there, or to bring animals from other areas if the storm should affect not our area but areas in other parts of the state. They have relationships with different partners throughout the state, and there is a SART, S-A-R-T, which is also a partnership with us that we're very close with, that helps us and has equipment that helps move animals.
My name is Danielle Sprague, and I'm the Agriculture and Natural Resources Extension Agent in Jefferson County. So basically, I listen to Miss Paula and do what she kind of says, and just on hand. And we work with Rainbow's Edge. We have a really great relationship with them. Our office is on about 80 acres, and we've got a horse arena there that Rainbow's Edge uses as a staging area for supplies coming in, coming out. If they need to horses evacuate from other areas, they're able to use that arena.
When a disaster's coming in, we get notified, and it comes in through the Sheriff's Department and through Paula at EOC, and she lets us know it's time to start preparing, whether it's for us in our county or neighboring counties. And then we immediately reach out to all our different network groups and let them know what is heading our way. And there's some ladies here from that. Thank you, Jacksonville and Lake City. But we start getting everyone in all the states around and all the different groups that network for the horses and agricultural. And it's not saying that we only take those supplies. But those people are already on standby. If we need assistance to come in with trailers, they will start hauling. They'll start coming. It's like, and not only do we have access to our network groups, but that by having these different groups, they have access to groups they network with in their area. So if, say, Jefferson County, we're going to get a direct hit because it is one of the only counties in the state that goes from the Gulf to the Georgia state line. That's a lot of county to cover. We would have access to hundreds and hundreds of trailers and assistance, not only bringing in supplies and getting ready supplies to come in, but also to come in and get animals out of harm's way. And people in other states around and different counties around, they all jump in and they say, we have space here. We'll all start getting hit up with, I've got a pasture here, I've got 20 acres, I have 5 stalls. It's like, it's incredible what starts happening for the equine. I'm not good at freaking out, I'm not good at panicking. I reach out to the numbers is what I do. But everything that we do stays within the law. We stay working and notifying everyone above us. So not only are we reaching out, now we're going back and we're letting the sheriff knows what's going on. Ag knows what's going on. Paula at Emergency Management knows what's going on. We keep everyone knowing what we're doing. And Sheriff Mack and Miss Paula this year, it's like they gave us an opportunity that we never had before, and they developed, or allowed us to help develop an equine and animal CERT team, which is Community Emergency Response Team. Now Paula, she knows more about the CERT and all that than I do, but by us getting certified with the county, now what we've done is we've all had background checks run on us. And then the teens, they were doing so good with us, Miss Paula, it's like when she reached out about the CERT class, it's like, well, when we reached out to our volunteers, their kids came with them. Well, then Miss Paula says, well, these kids can be useful. It's like, so she developed a CERT team for the teenagers. So now they're on the team as well, and they're all trained, properly trained.
We have a total of 30 adults and teens, but a lot of the adults are working and couldn't be here today. But we do appreciate all that they do, and they are trained CPR, and it's a community emergency response team. So they had to go through training. And they're trained in search and rescue and medical and fire. So they did go through the class and they took their test and they passed. So I'm very proud of them.
I just went through the training. I just moved to Monticello about 2 years ago and wanted to become more involved in the community. And I'd been helping Roxanne a little, and the opportunity came up to do the CERT training. And so I got with Paula and the emergency management group and did the CERT training. We learned all kinds of things as far as emergency procedures, first aid, CPR, responding to different emergency situations, search and rescue, and safety first of all, and fires, everything.
Basically, we've learned how to do search and rescue, how to tell if someone's going into shock, how to tell where the bleeding's coming from, like an arterial, a vein, or it's just a regular scrape. Basically, I wanted to get more involved in the community, and I wanted to become more involved, and I wanted to see how it was, and I wanted to help people. I wanted to go out and be a part of these things that are saving people, basically, and I wanted to do this, and my mom told me about it, and I'm like, hey, why don't I try it? And we're learning how to control fires, we're learning how to go into structures that are unstable, or learning how to tell if they're unstable. and it's just something that is really brought this community together, or it's getting more people to help in the community that are just everyday people. They're becoming people who know how to save lives.
If Paula says, hey, there's a levee gonna break, we need to get everything out of there at that moment, because everything could be underwater. It's like now we can go to that area, and even if it's closed off, they can allow us in as long as it's safe. And that way we can get the trailers in there. Now none of us are certified in swift water. That's where SART comes in, right? There's swift water. They would come in, but we can be there at the end of the road where they're coming out with trailers set up, ready to take the horses in. So that way they can go back and help more. And they're not having to go from there to hauling to our staging area and then having to get the vet. It's like everything is set up in line. This way we're all working together in one line, allowing us to help even more. So we really appreciate the fact that Sheriff Mack and Paula, allowed that to be CERT program to be extended to the animals as well, and developed the whole new program. A lot of the kids helped us with Hurricane Michael, and we had the staging area at the extension office for 3 months, and Miss Danielle would come and she'd supervise. She keeps an eye on us, make sure everything's going good, make sure everything's clean, kept clean, taken care of. Everything's, if there's any repairs needed from the horses, everything's getting fixed. She keeps an eye over that and basically oversees the management of us. Not telling us how to do our job, but overseeing the property. And if we have any needs or anything, we have her to go back to and say, well, okay, we need more space or whatever. It's like she's the one that is capable of giving us the permission to do that.
The people that come in are supposed to be registered through the state EOC, and so we know that when people come that they've been certified to be there, they're allowed to be there. And so if we have somebody that we're being told is in that area helping, and have not been directed to be so through the state EOC, then we'll go and investigate that. Unfortunately, a lot of people take advantage of tragedy, and that's what we got to look out for. And to go back to one of your questions, you're talking about, how do you get better? What we do after every storm is we have a debriefing and a roundtable, and we look at everything we did and how we could have done it better. And so every one of these storms that comes toward us or comes near us or hits us, when we're done, we take what we've accomplished and see how we could have done it better, and we keep moving forward. And that's how every storm we're a little more prepared. We felt really good at what happened with Michael and how we handled it. We definitely want to be able to communicate better, and that's the one thing that we've been working on to make sure everybody's on the same page. And we have a new, it's not a new, but a web program through the state that keeps everybody, so we know that we're not doubling up, sending 2 people to the same type of call. That was the one thing we found, where dispatchers were sending people to a call and the EOC was sending people to a call. And for a small county with limited resources, we need to be more effective in how we deploy ourselves. And so that was the one thing we found, and we've corrected that. And we just, like I say, we get better every time.
Oh, I have a couple of roles. I'm with the Humane Society of the United States Southeast Office out of Tallahassee, and have been involved in disaster planning and response for animals since Hurricane Andrew. So I'm very active at the state level through the State Agriculture Response Team, which is our lead group in Florida, our Department of Agriculture, and then all those local county extension agents are under them. But we're the support group for companion animals. So we're working on pet-friendly shelters. We're working at coordinating supplies, and we get involved in some of the large animal issues because we can tap into our donor network to get like fencing and hay and that, which became really vital over in the impacted area that was, right in there, Panama City and through there. There were a lot of horse farms, some dairy, some everything. So we tried to get hay, we tried to get some fencing in there. Then we got a bunch of companion animal food, crates, cages, those kinds of things. I think, so that's at the state level. We're trying to coordinate and help each county. The state responds to when a county asks for help. So we go and try to work with the counties and see what it is is they need and see what resources we can get to them. Now, one of the issues that we found with Michael is that there were a lot of rural counties that had, no animal control, no humane society, the sheriff's department maybe two some of these counties. So it was really overwhelming, and we also did have the problem of people coming in and in some cases they truly wanted to help, but they would not be in the system. In other situations, they were taking advantage of the situation. And so in those rural counties, it's harder to, for the really limited resources to respond. So some of the larger counties like Leon County, which is the capital, we have the pet-friendly shelters and we have a bigger network. We need to build on it to get the equines involved and everything. But, it's a constant work of progress. Every time there's a disaster, it's different. You can't cookie cutter it. You've got to respond in a different way. So we work at the local level. I work with pet-friendly shelters, and at the state level, we work coordinating response into the counties.
I'm Tia and work group 17. This is Kayla and Erica. We work closely with Rainbow's Edge. Between the three of us, we just wanted to do more. And what it was an idea became a plan, and then it became
a network.
A very huge network very quickly.
It started with Florence.
And then it very quickly, I actually was part of working Katrina before I ever was part of Florence or any of the other. We actually owned a construction company in Central Florida, and that's what started my wanting to help. And then Kayla said we should do some stuff. We should get people some help, and it just very quickly snowballed into 3 girls with a mission and a huge mission to save animals. And the next thing I know, we had people from South Florida to Pennsylvania to Texas to California, Tennessee, Montana, and we have a huge network of people now that if we put the word out, hey guys, we need help, they are when aware. What do we need? What do you got? How many trailers? What's there? Do you need a vet? We have vets that network with us now.
It's very about networking. You got to network, and you got to not be scared to just call people and ask. They're going to say yes or they're going to say no.
Yeah. And we've been rejected. I mean,
1,000 times.
People are like, y'all are crazy. No, we're not doing this. And yeah, we are. We'll just do it without you. So.
And people that will reach out to you because they heard from somebody else and they'd want to get involved. So it's really about networking.
Yeah. Yeah, and the MREs, we had 250,000 MREs. The guy calls and says, where do you want them? And I was like, how are we going to get them here? So then one phone call led to another that led to a truck driver that said, I'll get them there if you guys can figure out some way to cover fuel. And I was like, deal. Let's get it done. And then we had a little bit of a hiccup with where was it going? We knew it had to come here, but where here? Because there was nowhere to put it. So we got on the line with a few people and called quite a few people, and the next thing I know, we had a landing spot and it was on its way. And then I had to meet them because the drivers got lost. So at 2:30 in the morning, I left work early and ran over and met them and said, this is where we're going. And we drove it all the way through. And then I slept in my truck and volunteered for a week in the Panhandle doing animal rescue. So, yeah, we've had our fair share of ventures. I've slept in a John boat on top of dog crates in Florence, and then again in the Panhandle. We've slept in a horse trailer.
How do you
quite a few times?
Social media? Facebook mostly. We have our own private group. Yeah. But then we are also in other groups on Facebook. Yeah. And then somebody will get my number from somebody else, and then we just pass it on. It's basically just like that. It's all about networking, and it's all about not being scared to ask for help, and just making contacts all over the United States.
The biggest thing was, I want to say we kind of it was a divide and conquer.
Yeah.
I actually lived in North Carolina for 2 years during a contract and moved back to this area. So I was not from here. So I was originally from Central Florida. So I had a ton of contacts in Central Florida in the horse community and different rodeo associations that I was part of. So I contacted them and they said, okay, well, it went from there. Mm-hmm. She's in Jacksonville, so her network was different, and it just made it work well because she's from this area. I'm not. I had Central Florida. She had this area and around, and then she had Jacksonville, so we were covering the central to northeast in no time. So.
My name's Kayla Kinnett. I work at the EOC with Miss Paula. Me and her, we run the EOC. She tells me what to do and I do it, and we just get things done, try to keep things smooth as possible during a storm and follow everything that the state tells us to do. We talk to the state. We are the networking between the state and the local government. So we just help our community out as best as we can.
You touched on the stolen animals, and I know with our group and our networking system, the biggest thing we try to tell people when somebody is picking up your animals, because it's not people coming in and really stealing them. People are actually putting them on vehicles, and then they're not ending up where they're supposed to be. So we tell it's always get their tag number, get their driver's license number, get pictures of the vehicle, get pictures of the trailer. Make sure they're signing something stating where that animal's going. We do the same thing with supplies, so why would we not do it with a living animal?
My job as a sheriff is to protect people. My second job during a storm event is to get people's lives back to normal as quickly as possible. And we're very effective at doing that for a small county. As you can see, it's a community effort. We could not do this. Florida responds to hurricanes extremely well. They've got years and years of practice of doing it. But there's still always going to be gaps. And it's people that step up in the community like you see here that fill those gaps and make getting people's lives back to normal quicker. And that's what we try to do.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode and meeting these amazing people. There are not enough good words to describe their bravery and their dedication to their communities. And then take a minute and go to CushingEquestrianFund.com and review the disaster plan ideas that we have posted for you. Make your plan for your disaster needs now and run through it. I know it sounds stupid to do a dry run, but where I live 140 miles from the coast, I flood. And when flooding comes, it comes quick, and I have to be ready, and so do you. Livestock are tough. You can't just throw them in the car and take off to a shelter. So please make an appropriate plan to deal with whatever Mother Nature throws at us. Get familiar with the groups in your area. Volunteer, find out what's available and what is needed. We can handle anything if we all work together. And thank you for watching this episode. Be safe.